Hello, I'm Izzy. I'm back again, another cocktail. This time, I don't have a weird ingredient per se, but like a weird combination of things. Coffee and cranberry juice. Okay, so there's a bit of a story behind the idea for this cocktail. I work at a bar and we also make coffees there. And we have like the system you put through, make payments and stuff, put through orders. You select which coffee someone wants, like a cappuccino or a flat white, and then it comes up with an option to select like if they want a particular kind of milk or like honey, decaf, etc. And one of the buttons says cranberry. Don't know why. My colleague was putting an order through and she was like, cranberry juice in coffee? That's weird. And I was like, cranberry and coffee. So since then, I've been trying to make a cranberry coffee cocktail, and this is what I've come up with. So the ingredients for this one, got bourbon, coffee liqueur, cranberry juice, a little bit of lemon juice, and secret ingredient, milk. It'll make sense shortly. All right, let's build the drink. So we're starting off with 45 mils of bourbon. Couldn't really tell you why I picked bourbon for this one, to be honest. I just kind of do things based on what I feel is right. But thinking back on it, in theory, I picked whiskey because it has got a bit of presence. I wanted something that would be tasted in the cocktail. And bourbon as opposed to scotch, I feel like scotch is kind of the main character a lot of the time. It cuts through everything. Whereas the star ingredients in this is coffee and the cranberry. So bourbon, I think, takes a little bit more of a backseat sometimes. So you can still kind of taste the whiskey, but it brings up everything else. And it's a little bit sweeter than scotch as well, generally. So that's why I did that one. 45 mils of coffee liqueur as well. And then 30 mils of cranberry juice. And then I just want a tiny little scooch of lemon. I'm just going to squeeze a little bit in there. Not the seeds though. That's the seed. It's okay, I'll strain it. So I've got all the ingredients of the cocktail in here. That's all I'm going to add. And then the next step, which involves the milk, is milk clarification, or like milk washing, which can be used to clarify a cocktail, so it makes it clear rather than cloudy. But it also does this thing where like parts of the milk attach to stringent, I don't know science. They attach to parts of like really stringent ingredients, so like cranberry juice, coffee, red wine, and like bourbon, like whiskey and rum as well. And it kind of strips those qualities a little bit, so it makes it a lot smoother. Because when I originally made this cocktail, I put like this exact ratio together, added some tonic water because I thought that was good. And it was nice, but I think it's the kind of thing that only I would like. It was quite harsh because coffee, bourbon and cranberry, they're all pretty intense. So this milk washing kind of dulls it back a little bit and smooths it out so they blend together quite nicely, and it adds quite a silky mouthfeel as well. So for this part, I'm going to get some milk and got this like glass Tupperware here to mix everything in. So I use half a cup of milk. I don't know the exact ratio really, but this worked for me. Just put your milk into your container, like any sort of vessel for mixing. It is important though that you pour the cocktail into the milk, because otherwise the process won't work properly. What's going to happen is the little bit of lemon juice that we added, and also I think the cranberry will probably do a bit on its own, it's going to react with the milk and then curdle, which sounds and looks kind of gross, but that's what you want. That's how the milk attaches to those elements in the cocktail and then draws them out. So this is what the cocktail looks like at the moment, a bit like flat Coke, and it's not sort of cloudy, but just kind of a funky colour. And you'll notice the before and after, it is clarified by the milk, so it's actually quite a nice light brown, you can see through it. So we're going to add this to the milk. Give it a little bit of stir around, just to kind of mix it in. You can see it's already reacting with it, curdling a little bit. So after you've mixed it together, you want to leave it for at least half an hour, and that'll give the milk a chance to curdle and collect everything. So it's been about half an hour, and now the milk and cocktail mixture is nicely curdled. Just give it, again, a little bit of a gentle mix all together. Now we're going to filter it out. I've got this little coffee filter here, but you can use cheesecloth or it's like something really fine. So cheesecloth or a coffee filter is the best way to do it, because you want to get obviously all of the chunky curds out. And then you just pour it straight in there. And let it drip through slowly. It should take a couple hours, depends, but just until it's all filtered through. And the first little bit that comes through is not going to be properly clear or like properly filtered out, because part of the filtration is filtering itself through the curds. So the first little bit that drips out, you do want to just chuck it back in the top and filter it through again. So I'm just going to grab the other half of the shaker, transfer it, and then filter this first little bit. Okay, so after that whole filtration process, you end up with this. You can tell like a very clear difference in how it looks. Looks actually a nice colour now as opposed to flat Coke. And to serve, I'm just going to pour it over this nice big block of ice into a glass. This I put in the fridge after I filtered it, so it's already nice and cold because it doesn't need to be diluted anymore, so I didn't want to stir or anything. Just, yeah, fridge is fine, and then serve over ice. I think it's the perfect way to have it. And there it is. This drink was inspired by, as I told you, that scenario that happened at work on the POS system. POS stands for point of sale, so this cocktail is called point of sale. Cheers. It tastes completely different to what you'd expect with those ingredients that's in there, because the milk wash gives it a very silky mouthfeel, almost creamy, but I wouldn't say creamy, I'd say silky, and it just tones down all of those harsh flavours. So you can taste the bourbon up front. It's not overpowering, but I'd say that's probably the strongest flavour that I can taste, although it's very hard to describe. And then you've kind of got this fruity coffiness. It's not cranberry juice, it's fruity coffee. So it's weird, they've all kind of blended together. It makes it feel a very nice drink. You don't really know what the ingredients are, but it's delicious.